In this video, I'm going to show you how I've started using AI tools combined with my optional strategy to improve my trade entries, improve timing, avoid bad setups, and protect my capital. And I'm doing all of this without changing anything about the core trade. It's a quick 30-second, 3-step checklist that I now go through and is a part of my process that might help you also. First and briefly, if you're brand new to the optional strategy, here are the 3 steps you go through. And after we briefly discuss this, I'm going to show you my exact prompts I use in AI to improve my trades. Step 1 is you sell a put option at a strike price you'd feel comfortable owning the stock if it came to that. Then step 2, if that put option is eventually assigned, you then turn it into a cover call by selling call options against it. Once that cover call is eventually assigned, you just repeat the process in the same or another stock. So the optional strategy is pretty simple, and we're not changing any of that. However, we are adding in an AI element. What if we could layer in a filter? Something that flags hidden risk, things like earnings reports, lawsuits, or surprise downgrades before we enter the trade. That's where this checklist will help you out. And don't worry if you can't write all this down. I'll post this for all the free Patreon members. So if you want to get a copy of it, just head on over to Patreon and become a free member. You can get this checklist there. Let me ask you, are you using any type of AI in your stock or option trades? If so, how are you using it? Let me know down in the comment section below. Before I show you a real life example of using this checklist in real time, here is the AI sentiment hack I use before entering every option trade. Now, I've created an acronym so it's easy for you to remember, and the acronym is AIM. It stands for Ask, Inspect, and then Mint or Print Your Money. Let's briefly go through this hack so you can see how I use it to improve my stock and option trades. The A stands for ask. You want to ask AI to do some research for you. And you can use almost any AI that you're comfortable with, whether it's ChatGPT, Bard, or FinGPT. And here's what you're going to ask it. What is the recent sentiment around whatever stock you want to trade in? Or what are the biggest headlines? Or why has a stock recently declined? Generally, I like to trade in stocks that have recently experienced a decline, so that's one that I like to ask. Is why has this stock experienced such a strong decline over the past week or over the past year? If it comes back with some negative information, then you might wait to do the trade. Or you might just place a more conservative trade. Or a third option will be to place a trade but have a smaller position size than normal. And of course, if it's positive, then you just proceed as normal, proceed as planned. So the first thing you do is ask. Ask AI to do a deep background search on whatever stock you're about to trade in. Once you've asked AI, which I'll show you exactly how to do that in just a minute with my real life example, if everything's looking okay, you then move on to the I, which is inspect your charts. I want to take all the information the AI just gave me, think about it, and then inspect my charts. So I'm pairing what the AI told me with what I see going on in the market. What am I looking for? Well, I want to see if the stock is bouncing off support or if it's just broke through it. You see, even if my AI has told me there's a bullish sentiment, if the stock has just broke through support, do I really want to be selling a put option close to the money? I don't think so. If it's just falling through support, then I want to wait even if there is a bullish sentiment in the stock. And the third letter in my AI hack is M. The M stands for Mint or Print Your Money. Kind of like a printing press. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to create our own money printing press. So print your money by placing a solid trade. We don't want to just make any old trade. We want to see a safe, well thought out, well-researched trade, and AI can help you do that. How exactly do we place this trade? Well, if everything's looking bullish, you can be a little more aggressive. And if you're selling a cash or put option, sell a little bit closer at the money, or maybe even do a little bit bigger position size. Again, I never break my position sizing rule, but you could consider doing a bigger initial position size if everything is looking good. If between AI and interpreting your charts, things are looking more neutral, then you might proceed a little more cautiously or proceed as normal. If on the other hand, AI and or your stocks are giving you a bullish read, then you want to be a little more careful. You want to do a smaller position size. Or if you're selling put options, you can sell them farther out of the money. Or you could just wait for things to be a little more clear, for there to be a more neutral bullish sign. So now let me show you exactly how to do this whole process, the AIM process, which is ask, inspect, and then mint or print your money. Now let's use this AIM strategy, which leverages AI, to help talk you through a real life example. Let's say that we're interested in possibly doing a trade in Target. Here's exactly what I would do. I would simply ask AI to summarize the past week's sentiment of Target, ticker symbol TGT. So I'm going to hit go here. Let's just see what happens. Now you see the AI has done this little thing. It's thought about it, it's checked some websites, and this is what it's given to me to consider as a part of my AIM strategy. It said over the past week, sentiment around Target has been neutral to slightly bullish, characterized by a mix of positive trading activity and cautious investor outlooks. Now that's a lot in that one sentence, but it gives me a nice feel for what's going on with the stock. Now I'll scroll down here. You'll see something else that it does for me. It gives me some key highlights, which are very important, and I always read these highlights because sometimes They're not highlights. Sometimes they're lowlights, and you really want to know the bad things going on with the stock before you trade in it. So you want to read through what's going on with the stock. And here you see we have 4 nice bullet points you want to read through. And then at the very end, it gives you a nice summary. And here's what ChatGPT came up with about Target. It says in summary, while Target faces challenges reflected in its stock performance and analyst ratings, its consistent dividend history and stable investor sentiment provide a foundation for cautious optimism. So overall, I feel good about that. I don't mind trading in companies that have been experiencing a decline in stock price. I just want to make sure the companies are still solid. One thing I like about Target is that I believe it is currently undervalued, as you're going to see in just a minute. So we've completed our A and our AIM strategy. Now let's move on to our I, and that's inspect the charts. Here you see the 4 charts I like to consider whenever I'm entering a new option trade. We're going to focus on these 3 right in here. This top right one is the hourly, the bottom left is the daily, and the bottom right is the weekly. So AI has done my deep research for me and given it back to me in just a few seconds. Now it's time to see, how do I feel about the charts? Now first, looking at this hourly chart, I see overall it's in a nice uptrend because it's making higher highs and higher lows. Now I do notice that right in here, last week, it had a very strong advance and then it leveled off. So it wouldn't surprise me if it did come back down to retest this area right in here around 100 to 101 for support. But overall, I like what I see on this hourly chart. Now looking down here at my bottom left chart, notice that I've drawn a line right in here. It's a diagonal line. And actually I've gone there to make it a little bit darker for you so you can see it a little bit better. But notice what happened with Target. Going back to January of this year, so about 6 months ago, it started declining. It had a pretty sharp decline. It went down around 40-some%. So a pretty strong decline for a stable store like Target. But then as you see here, it broke that downtrend in late April. And since then, it's kind of been trading sideways. But notice what happened recently. Just several days ago, it pushed through that 103 area that had been serving as resistance for it. So I like that also. And by the way, I do believe that right now, Target is fundamentally undervalued. I believe it should be trading for at least around the 110 to 120 price range. So if it's trading for around 104, I feel very comfortable that I'm trading in an undervalued company in my opinion. You of course want to do your own research on that. But that's just how I feel about it. All right, now one more chart. We'll look at our weekly chart here. Notice that overall the weekly chart, it doesn't really look great. We're in a pretty good downtrend. Notice that it recently made a new lower low. So you just have to decide, am I okay with that risk? And personally, I am, because again, I believe this stock is fundamentally undervalued. I also saw that it recently broke through its downtrend that it had been in for quite a while. And since then, it's been holding this level right in here around $90 as support. So overall, I feel good about this. Now it's time to do the M part of our AIM strategy, which is mint or print our money. Yes, it is illegal to print your money, but in this case, we're going to print our money. And it is legal that we do this. So remember where we're at. The stock is trading for around 104. It's recently been finding support around $91 per share. Its ultimate low is back in here around $87 per share. Now, one more thing to keep in mind before we place this trade is the earnings date. And right now, TC2000 is saying that Target will be announcing earnings around August 20th. So we have almost 2 months before it announces earnings. Today is July the 6th, so we have about a month and a half to 2 months before it announces earnings. Before I place any option trade, I always like to confirm that earnings date if possible. Here you see I've gone to the Earnings Whisper website, and as of right now, that data is not confirmed. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind, is that you are taking on a little more risk until this data is confirmed. But we're going to assume that August 20th is the earnings date for Target. What trade would I do? Let me show you. With Target trading for around $104 per share, I like to give myself a little bit of room to be wrong and still win. So I probably consider selling this put option right down here around the support I found back here in mid-June. And that's around the $95 area. If I want to be even safer, I consider selling the $90 strike price put option. Now I'll switch over to my broker. We're looking at the August 15th. The option is expiring in about 40 days. And here's the $90 cash secure put option and the $95 strike price put option. Notice that we get pretty decent premium for these options. If we want to be a little more aggressive, we could consider selling the $95 strike price put option, get around $1.56 or $1.57 per share for that. Now if we want to play a little bit safer, we can sell the $90 cash secure put option and get around 77 cents per share. Typically, I like to sell my options around 60 days to expiration, but with Target about to announce earnings just after this August expiration, I definitely would not sell the September options. If I was going to sell an option, I'd sell the August option. So if we want to place this trade, we go ahead and put the order in and hit submit. Now I'm not going to submit this because it's actually on Sunday, so the market's not open, but you get the idea of how to place this trade. So there you have it, my simple AI hack that I now use on every option trade. And if you want to get a copy with all the details, just check out becoming a free Patreon member at the link down in the description. Unowned Me, a YouTube viewer, asked me what I thought was a really good question. How do I find stocks to sell options against? If you want to see how I find my stock and option trading opportunities, check out the video at the link above and in the description below entitled learned how to find option trading opportunities in 19 minutes. Until next time, happy investing, and we'll see you again soon.